What is going on? I want to thank you for coming by to Vape with a Viking. So, yeah, it's been a minute. So, just real quick shout out to everybody that has stayed subscribed, still encouraging me through this process of some personal issues, medical, now jobs, all this kind of stuff. So, but good news is as long as everything's going the way it is now, we should start seeing some more content rolling. So yeah, huge shout out to TRV crew fam. You guys have been amazing, and all my subscribers out there, no matter where in the world you're located. Thank you so much. And let's get some stuff rolling, right? All right. But what we're here for today is the new Hadron Pro combo by Steamcrave. As you see, Hadron Pro. There you go. So wanted to give a shout out to Steamcrave for sending me this for the purpose of the review, which it's not going to affect my opinion, even though I am a Steamcrave kind of fanboy there. I absolutely love the Ragnar, and what we're running in it today, of course, for testing, even though it's a mod, we got some Vape Asylum Dark Star Lobotomy, one of my all days, every days, or as Spring would say, all day, every day. I can't do that. So, but what we're going to be talking about is this mod. It does come in just a mod, or you can get the Hadron Pro combo, which will get you a Ragnar if you do not have one. And one thing I thought very interesting, it had the series deck in there, which show you on the dive down. Really cool. I've been waiting for a series deck for this guy. But yeah, so we're talking Lipo, we're talking DNA 250C, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, so definitely going to get down into that. Of course, before we get there, we're going to do Viking's Advocacy moment. You say minute, but it doesn't take that long. Basically, like I say, if you definitely want up-to-date news, I know I have links in the description to a lot of vape advocacy websites. Of course, like CoHost, which is more of a US base. Not Blowing Smoke is one, and several others down in there. But definitely what I urge you to do is go on to Twitter. You'll be able to support and see what I call the Vape Advocate Generals, or like Grim Green, Matt from Suck My Mod, the Vaping Bogan, Phil, Dimitri. All those guys have been fighting for a very long time for all of our rights to vape. So go definitely give them a shout. And you can get really up-to-date information from them, and of course any feed, and check out all the political connections that they're making to help our cause as well. And of course, ADHD awareness as well. Like I said before, if you want to get some education on ADHD, go check out How to ADHD. It's a channel I watch very regularly. The lady Jessica Maccabee is a huge advocate, but also is very good at explaining the disorder and specific things with the disorder, because yes, it is a real disorder, but she's also making those connections in the medical background with a lot of these doctors that are finding more and more out the more they dive down into the ADHD rabbit hole. So it's a very personal cause to me, because I was diagnosed at 40, and of course my boy my young son has been diagnosed as well. We are on 2 completely different medications. He's on one that did not work for me, and of course he's not as severe as I am, so he's not on the medication I'm on. But that just shows you how it affects everybody so differently, so you gotta custom tailor that. But even if you don't have ADHD, you might have a loved one that does, might have children of your own, even your father, somebody, and she does a lot of good stuff on that channel too, not only for people with the disorder, but for people that are dealing or involved in the disorder. So definitely go check her out. She has no clue who I am, so this isn't for anything other than my purposes of saying, hey, it's a great channel. So, and thank you so much, TRV fam, for #BeautifulNotBroken, because like I tell everybody, your brain is different, and different is beautiful. But I think you're probably talked out all that. We want to definitely check out this mod a little more in detail. It is a Lipo. It is going to come shipped unconnected, so that's something I'm going to kind of show you down there. Sorry, I already had it connected. I was excited, but at least show you the connectors and all that kind of good stuff. So, I'm ready. Are you ready? Yeah, we're ready. Let's drop the hammer on the Hadron Pro. Alright, so what I got for you today is the long-awaited, of course, Steamcrave Hadron Pro. They did send me the combo. which I have been using, so it won't be in the box, so I'll kind of just give you the up close here real quick. But this is the combo, which is going to consist of course, the Hadron Pro and Ragnar combo. First, let's see what's in the box. And on the side, you're going to see Aromomizer Ragnar combo, and then some more Steamcrave stuff here. And then here are your colors. They're going to have gunmetal, silver, black, and then this was kind of neat. If you look, it's the DNA 250 or the Steamcrave PWM. So if you look on the back there, it's going to show you here Lipo pack 1600 mAh, 4S 30C, and then all the different item numbers, UPC and scratch and check authenticity. And like normal fashion for Steamcrave, you got your magnetic flip, and then you got this nice velvet going on here. Some things I've already pulled out of the box, of course, is going to be like your Steamcrave sticker, and then your Hadron Pro manual, and then your Ragnar manual as well are all going to be included. And since, like I said, I've been using it, you also get, of course, a USB charging cable and firmware / Evolve data cable. And I wanted to point this one out. It's really nice braided cable they put in there. Really good quality cable. I like these braided ones. And of course, in the rest of the box, you're going to have the normal contents. If you were to get like a Ragnar combo, you're going to get some cotton here. You're going to get, of course, get your RTA here, spare glass, your band, and all the other glasses as well. You'll get your, what they call basically either I want to say, some people want to say it's a reducer, but it's actually the adapter for the Ragnar to use the old V2 decks to put in there, and that'll be in there. And then of course all your extras here, you got your grub screws, you got your O-rings, stuff like that. Of course your tri-tool is in there, and one thing I didn't have from the original combo I thought was kind of neat. Let's pop this guy open. It's the Ragnar series deck. Take a real quick kind of sneak peek at that. Basically just like the Ragnar deck, except for having all of that airflow at the bottom, they cut it off with, of course, the peak insulator and being able to run it series wise there. Other than that, it's exactly like the Ragnar. You got your bottom airflow here and your side airflow in there, grub screws, 510, all that kind of good stuff. So pretty excited to try this because I've been using Ragnar forever. Same with coils too, since basically it was released. So something a little different in there will definitely be nice, because I did use the mesh. I'm just not a big mesh fan, so this gets me pretty excited. And also, before we jump right into the device itself, because again, since I have been using it, I already installed the battery. When you get this, the battery will not be installed, but in the manual, they will have instructions on essentially what to do. It's really easy. It's going to be 2 connectors you pop in. The one big thing that'll be different probably compared to anything else you're used to is it will have some double-sided sticky tape on the Lipo itself, and they tell you to put it, towards the bottom and all of that. So, and I'll show you when I, pop it open. Now, when it comes to the DNA 250, definitely I'm not going to do a review or tear down on that. You either know how to use it or do not, or there's older videos that definitely go into way better explanation of how to use eScribe and all that stuff as well. It's really nice most of the time, unless you want to fiddle with your settings or your display or how many times to hit the button to lock to unlock and all that. You might not even hook it up to a computer to even deal with eScribe. Probably one of the main things I always do is it's 5 clicks to lock and unlock, and I do usually change that to 3 because I don't know, I'm just not patient enough to do 5. Then of course, take a look at this real quick because I know my old Ragnar video was kind of hard to see. It was when I was in between cameras, and this was something that I had showed in there. What is the chamber reducer? Right there in the manual you get for that. If you get the combo, it'll tell you what that reducer really is, and like it says in there, so you can use the other Aromomizer plus decks, so like the Postless series, Velocity, all that. Now the nice thing is since the new Hadron Pro combo has a series deck for the Ragnar specifically, you won't have to use one from the older series. And then of course they have some wicking and coil placement tutorials, stuff like that. All right, but let's get to where we want to be essentially, which is looking at this kind of monstrous device. I will say it's a pretty hefty guy. Well, I'd say so. Of course, there's a Ragnar on top, but you know what we're gonna look at, and I know my camera's gonna freak because there's no detail to pick up. But here on the side, you'll see Hadron Pro. And then, of course, there's Steamcrave right there that's been etched in there. Now, this whole body is just like the Hadron 220. It is that zinc alloy, so it definitely puts some weight into this guy. So it is definitely not for the dainty of heart. I don't know if that's what you want to call it. But anyway, so, of course, on the front here, you're going to have, so you got your Evolve right there. And then, of course, your down, up, and selection buttons right through there, your screen, and of course your fire. And I know somebody will point this out. One of the things that I first, when I looked at this, thought it was going to be kind of a con is looking at, well, why do you have black and then like stainless steel screws? But since they do offer different colors of this, it's one of those things, it's a manufacturing deal. Otherwise they'd have to either paint or anodize or do some kind of coating to each color. That would be a pain in the butt. So I know that there's going to be people out there that don't like this. It's going to make it look almost unfinished. But to me, you know, if it's that much of an issue, take some black paint or whatever color you end up getting. So if you get stainless, you're solid. So, but to me, not that big of a deal. Does not hurt performance whatsoever. So now the buttons here, I don't know if we can hear it. They are very responsive with a very light touch, and let's see if we can hear it here. They're nice and clicky. Normally on most DNA devices I have, and especially anything with a Lipo in it, the buttons are not clicky at all. They're actually kind of hard to mash down. So that's kind of the neat thing with this. I did like is very soft, clicky. Now, some people might think they're too soft, a little too clicky, but for me, I enjoyed them. So, of course, you have the Ragnar on here, and nothing special going on here except for, you know, stainless steel 510, spring loaded, little stainless steel plate up here that, of course, I got, you know, I'm gooey on, so a little brushed stainless there. Let's get into the inside. That's probably what you guys are waiting for. Now, this is dual-sided, so you can take the doors off of each side if you want to either access the Lipo a little bit better, or one side for one reason, one side for the other. Don't know why you'd want to take them both off at the same time. But I definitely recommend taking, if you have the Ragnar, the tank off, because they don't slide off easy. They will come off, but if you try to kind of pull and do an angle, it'll end up catching the lip of the Ragnar because it fits pretty much right to the edge of the door. So definitely, if you have the Ragnar and you want to take them off consistently or without catching anything, definitely take the Ragnar off. But on the inside, you'll see here, it is a fully max. It is a 4S Lipo 30C, so looking at a capability of 14.8 volts at a 23.68 watt hour. So low internal resistance, cycle life battery. Now, I've seen a lot of talk on some social medias that there are people confused whether they should take this Lipo pack out to recharge or go through the board itself. And I've heard the argument on both sides. I have never heard of a board, unless of course the board fails, but a DNA board itself fail charging Lipo. I actually have an older Lipo that's DNA 250C, and that thing has thousands of hours of recharging through the USB. So in my opinion, and from what I have used myself for probably getting close to the duration of its Lipo, never had a single problem. But also some people say, why does it only charge to 99%? That's an overcharge feature. So that's how you know it's going to be safe, when it knows to not fully charge the pack. Definitely no problem going through the USB. Hopefully that clears it up for anybody watching here. But essentially all you're going to end up doing is, when you get this yellow end here and this white end here will not be connected. So very, very, very simple to figure out how to install it. White to white, yellow to yellow, and then you just kind of tuck them in there and you put on your doors. Very, very simple. The only difference I would say is if I would have not been so impatient, I would have done what they said and put the Lipo all the way to the bottom. I did not. So don't make that mistake, because it does not make the wires sit in there 100% right. I mean, they sit in there right, but you gotta kind of press them down a little bit before you put your doors on. But then after that, it's good to go. So very, very simple. Then go ahead and put back on your Ragnar or other favorite RTA. But I'm telling you right now, with this Lipo and the weight of the mod anyway, put your Ragnar on. It'll work. And yeah, so let's go ahead and come back up on top, vape on it, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the Hadron Pro Lipo by Steamcrave. All right, we are back up with the Hadron Pro combo. Hadron Pro, Ragnar combo. There you go. So a couple of things out of the way price-wise. I've seen them anywhere from like 180 to 200 for just the mod itself. The combo is, if I remember right, about 250, 260, somewhere around in there. Which, you know, the Ragnar itself is well worth the money. It's one of my go-to RTAs if I have a device with me that can take that size. It is a 35, so definitely made for the Ragnar, but you can of course throw anything on there because it's DNA and all that kind of good stuff. But let's go over some features, and then we'll go pros and cons. So some features. One of the things you'll see on the website is you can add custom engraving onto your Hadron. As far as I know, I think I mixed up the information. If you get it in, of course, black, stainless, gunmetal, it will just be plain doors like that, where Steamcrave went ahead and put a little etch on there for me. If I remember right, because I remember at one point in time we were talking about doing a logo, because you can send them files and stuff like that, and yeah, my memory just sucks. I can't remember what we talked about, but I did check with them saying, hey, did you accidentally send me one of somebody else's order? And they're like, no, that's yours with the engraving. So pretty sure it'll be plain unless you ask for engraving when you go to their site specifically, of course. So the material itself, I will definitely have to say I kind of tossed it around a bit. The body is definitely like the Hadron 220 that I use constantly, that big old Yeehee style chip. I used a little squonk backpack on that guy for all day squonking. So I know that material is the same, which is a zinc alloy. The doors, I was kind of tossing up, and I really looked, and I kind of did the thump test and kind of did a little scratch on the inside. But they, I'm pretty sure, indeed are the same zinc alloy, which does make it a little weighty. But if you're used to a 35 millimeter tank and you use like extended glasses and stuff like that, you're used to a nice beefy mod. You know, definitely something like we have like the Titans over here, the Titan mods for 18650s. So you're probably used to that. If you're looking for probably a Lipo, you know it's going to be a little weighty. Now, comparative, if you want to see size-wise, my only other Lipo is, of course, the Boxer Mini, which, you know, it's smaller, and the main reason why it's is also not a 4S Lipo. So it is a smaller battery. They do have a little more smaller print or footprint or however you want to call that, but you know, this has a better grip to it. It's 3D printed, but some people don't like 3D printed, so it's going to be kind of up to you. The only thing I would have probably changed on this, and actually Mike Green at Darkstar had pointed this out, at least when I recorded this today, it is kind of slippery. So it's, you know, it's very smooth. I love how it feels and how they did the little beveling, which you can probably see better this way, how it's kind of a almost diamond or triangle shape to it. But yeah, it does, if you barely lose any grip to it, if that guy is full, the Lipo in there and everything, you might drop it. Now, you don't want to drop a Lipo. You really don't want to. You don't want to beat it up. You don't want to drop it. You don't want to punch it. So with my Hadron 220, I know I have dropped it from small distances every once in a while because, again, weight, especially with the backpack on there. and it's taken it with no problem. Being a lipo, I would definitely be extra careful with that. So maybe, hopefully, something they do later is maybe either different doors or maybe some kind of sleeves or something to kind of give you some texture or some grip power. But that was really my only con. I don't mind it, but people out there might. So I try to bring up cons as in what you might see, not just what I see, because I can deal with stuff way different than everybody else. And like I said in the dive down, probably the other subjective con is the screws. Again, I know because of manufacturing, they're not going to have batches of black screws, batches of gunmetal screws, and then stainless or just bare metal screws. When it comes to manufacturing, yeah, they're just going to what they do that's easy for automation, so on and so forth. So, like I said in the dive down, if you really are just like completely off about those, paint them. Or go find some screws at your local hardware store that are black anodized or maybe even gunmetal, something like that. You can change that with relative ease. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Definitely do not do it. But yeah, it is a little pricey, but if you think about it, it's lipo and it's DNA 250C. So I still think a pretty darn good bargain. And, they definitely looked into this really well. These doors, the magnets on them, they are strong. They will, I won't say suck your finger in if you do that, but they're not going to hurt you. But they are definitely very, very strong magnets. So they use some quality magnets. I know some people out there that got them early said that there was like corrosion on the board. The Ragnar wouldn't fire or read. I haven't had any of those problems. So there's a possibility that maybe for some reason their pre-existing Ragnar was not working well. I know Steamcrave put out a couple of things. One was make sure your 510 on your old Ragnar is nice and tight. I'd suggest that with the one that comes with the kit. But yeah, just trying to think of some things that I've seen with people already. The board itself, the corrosion. I saw some pictures. They honestly couldn't tell if they were corrosion or if it was this kind of like almost like dielectric grease they throw on there. Mine, of course, is perfectly clean. Now I don't know if the camera is going to be able to really pick up a lot of detail because I'm not really focused on that. But yeah, I don't see any goo corrosion or anything like that. And show you the magnet action over here. Nice and strong. But yeah, performing really well. Of course, battery life. It's a lipo. It's going to last quite a while. I had actually put it on the charger last night. And I was up earlier today. And been vaping on it for hours. And as you could see, really low wattage because it is a nice lemonade, but we're looking at already 83%. If I sat there and used this all day at 110 like I have on it, I would probably have to charge it at the end of the day. But somebody that's vaping at 75 watts and for maybe a total of 4 hours a day, you'll probably go possibly a couple days with that battery. So yeah, tons of pros, little bit of cons. Subjective. The other thing I will get into real quick with this is kind of a lipo safety. I know a lot of people have a huge debate on unplugging the lipo and using an actual lipo external charger or going through the USB. Like I said, down in dive down, if I remember correctly, I use through USB DNA chip. You're going to be perfectly fine. But definitely, it does have some differences than just your regular 21700s, 18650, so on and so forth. One would be the overcharging problem. So yeah, you're always going to be at 99%, unless for some reason you do have it on external and it hopefully does not charge it to 100%. You don't want to overcharge a lipo, but also you don't want to run them low. Most experts will tell you no less than 10%. I usually don't go any less than 25%. The lipo cells can actually take essentially almost I'm not an expert, but I think the term is collapse. Like the cells can collapse on themselves and then your lipo is just dead. It won't recharge again. So definitely I try to suggest 25%, plug it in. So hopefully you got a couple devices that you won't go without. So there's a couple quick little Lipo tips. But that is all I got today for the Hadron Pro. I just want to thank each and every one of you yet again for coming to Vape with a Viking. And I'll check you later.